Our first question comes from Rebecca Harlow, MSG Network. Rebecca, unmute.
Mallory, move on to the next one.
Okay. Our next question comes from Steve Popper, Newsday.
Tom, I guess just talk about getting your first win against a real tough team.
Yeah, and I told the guys before the game, after watching the film yesterday of the Philadelphia game, I felt better about how we played in that game after I watched the film. And I could see the growth from the start, and then to carry it over against a quality team like Milwaukee. And that's what we have to, strive to do, is to improve each day. And, I thought we've played well in the first half. Today we carried it over, and I thought we played well in the second half, particularly, late in the third. And so there's a long way to go. Obviously we have a lot of work to do, but it's a good start.
Our next question comes from Mark Berman, New York Post.
Hey, Tom, how did Alfred set the tone early, and how excited were you that he was able to turn it around?
He played a terrific all-around game, and that's part of this league. Is the games keep coming, and you have to have a short memory, and you can play well if you don't shoot well. But his all-around play was terrific. His defense was outstanding. He kept us organized offensively. He made shots. He was aggressive going to the basket. He had his spot ups. It was terrific all-around game from him.
Our next question comes from Chris Eisman, The Record.
Hey, Tom, what did you see from RJ Barrett, and what stood out about him, especially the way he was able to bounce back from last night?
Just aggressiveness. And, when you don't make shots, you can't let that impact other parts of your game. And he had a big first game. And when you have a game like that, you're going to get attention. And then you got to read the game and what's going on. How are they playing you? And then you have to use maybe their aggressiveness, their double teams, the way they're closing out to our team's advantage. And I think, he's doing that, is penetrating drives, putting a lot of pressure on the defense, forcing the defense to collapse. He continues to get better with rim reads, and I think he could be a dynamic playmaker. And when the ball moves freely and you hit the open man, you're going to get quality shots, and that's what we have to do to win.
Our next question comes from Mike Vorkunov, The Athletic.
Hey, Tom. It seems Julius has kind of really blossomed over the first three games as a distributor and a facilitator for you. I mean, what is the role you've kind of given him, and why is he doing it so much better than they did last season and when he was asked to be point forward in New York? Well,
I think, we're asking everyone to do basically the same thing, and that's sort of the way the game is in today's NBA. And so he has the ability to put it on the floor, and then you have to make the read at the basket. What are they doing? Is there two or three guys on you? And if there are, hit the open man, trust the pass. When you do that, the game becomes very easy. And it's the same thing with the post up. So the principle of sound offense is to force the defense to collapse and shift. And once you do that, you have to just sustain your spacing at the open man and make plays for each other. Then you get a good rhythm, you get high quality shots. It allows you a chance to offensive rebound, and also it gives you an opportunity to get back and get your defense set. And I thought our defense continues to improve. We still have a long way to go, but guys are starting to make a second and third effort, and that's necessary.
Our next question comes from Mike Vorkunov, The Athletic.
I mean, you mentioned how Alfred, games keep coming in the league. Did you talk to him after last night's game? I think some people who were there last night said they saw him working on a shot afterward. Did you talk to him after the game? What was his mentality like? And did you notice him trying to kind of make amends?
Alfred's a good pro. He's been coming in extra, just working on his game. And you don't really have to say anything to him other than, we talk to him every day about what the game plan is, what our expectations are, try to prepare him as best we can for each game. And yeah, he's learning a new system. He's got new teammates. But that's what you love about him. He comes in every day, gives you what he has, and he knows how to bounce back. And so in this league, you have to have that ability. And because we win tonight, enjoy it for tonight, and then we gotta get ready for the next one. That's the way it is in this league. The games keep coming. So you win, and you want to learn from the game, what happened in the game, why did we win? I think that's an important part of our development. And also, if you lose, why did we lose, and what do we have to do better to correct it?
Our last question comes from Mike Vaccaro, New York Post.
Tom, you talked earlier about watching the film of last night's game. I know coaches can, it's what you do. I mean, you find good things on tape and you find bad on tape that players don't necessarily see. But how important is it for a new group like this with a new coach to actually get a tangible result for all the work that you put in? I mean, not wanting to put too much emphasis on one game out of 72, but just getting a tangible result that they can actually point to and say, this is what hard work can yield.
Well, I think you want them to understand the winning component and all that goes into winning. And so every game we'll pull clips for them to watch, both good and bad, the things that we did well. And maybe we didn't do enough of those things well to win the game. But every game, if we can improve, and maybe we're at 24, 25 minutes of real good basketball, maybe we get it to 30 and you keep pushing forward. And to understand, we got to eliminate all the ways in which we beat ourselves first, to put ourselves in position to win. And usually that's your defense, your rebounding, and getting your turnovers down. And so that's what we've been emphasizing. And as you mentioned, we're not going to get carried away with one win. I think you can't lose sight of the work part of it. We always say the magic is in the work, and it really is. I think you improve incrementally, and as long as we're putting the work into it, we'll get better.
Our first question comes from Rebecca Harlow, MSG Network.
Well, Julius, at this time last night, you were talking to me about putting together 48 minutes of basketball. Tonight, team certainly did that. In your mind, what sticks out as what was so effective, particularly in that third quarter?
We knew they were going to come out with aggression, and that's the first thing we talked about at halftime. So, and that's exactly what they did. Came with aggression and hit a three, but how we responded to it, stayed together. 2 turnovers to start the half, offensive foul that we don't know if it was or not, but we stayed together and just kept at it.
Our next question comes from Bobby Childs, WBLS Radio. Unmute, Bobby. All right, we'll come back. Next question comes from Mark Berman, New York Post.
Hey, Julius, 3 solid games from you to start out the season. How is it different from last season for you, your first 3 games, maybe as a Knick last season?
Go in the summer, improve, and come back better.
Our next question comes from Steve Popper, Newsday. Steve, unmute. Oh, you're okay. Our next question comes from Steph Bondi, Daily News.
Hey, Julius, does a win like this, does it show you what this team is capable of, or is it like, hey, we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, it's just one game? How are you looking at the overall big picture after a win like this?
Well, it's definitely just one game, but it's more about what we're doing. We've put good halves together. We did in Indiana, we did last night. We just got to put a good second half, full game together, and that's what we did today.
Next question comes from Chris Eisman, The Record.
Julius, what did you think about the way that Alfred played, and how big do you think it was for him to get a game like this?
I love it. That's the EP I know. It's aggressive, confident, and he helped us get a win for sure.
Our next question comes from Rebecca Harlow at Machine Network.
Julius, when you take a look at the offense tonight, it was just so much more efficient. Obviously, part of that is the way that Peyton was able to establish himself tonight. But what did you see in terms of this team not only making the right play, but making the right play so efficiently?
Yeah, we're just playing for each other. Obviously, it helped. EP, like I said, they're aggressive and confident from the start. It was a big boost for us. But we're all just trying to play unselfish and make the right play. The ball will find the right person, and our spacing and getting to our spots and all that type of stuff. So we work on it every day, and the results are showing. So we just got to keep building.
Our last question comes from Mark Berman, New York Post.
I remember last season, early on especially, you talked a lot about adjusting to the extra attention. And now here in your second season as a Knick, you're still getting the extra attention. But how much have you adjusted to this? Is that one of the key differences?
Yeah, just make other players better. Simple.
First question comes from Steve Popper, Newsday.
Hey, RJ, just as a team and yourself individually, to come back from what you guys had Saturday night and turn it around like that with a complete 48-minute effort, what does that show for this team early in the year?
It was a great bounce back. That's really all I can say. A tough team. We came and a couple guys had huge games for us. We all played well together as a team, as a unit. So, it's a great sign for us.
Next question comes from Ian Bagley, SNY.
Yeah, RJ, one of the things you said last night was it's just one game. I just want to get to the next one. Is it better to get back the next day? Like, do you prefer that after a tough game? Do you want to get back on the next day?
I feel like you want to get on the court as soon as possible, regardless, good or bad game. So, definitely was excited that we had this opportunity today and was very happy that, we won the game.
Our next question comes from Mark Berman, New York Post.
Hey, RJ. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be talking to you tomorrow. You guys are going to head on to the road for 4 games during a pandemic. What's the mindset, the challenge? I mean, is this going to be a real experience for you guys to be out on the road for so long during these times?
I think the NBA has, great protocols in place. So, just gotta stay safe, and then you gotta go out there and, compete and just play hard.
Next question comes from Mike Vorkunov, The Athletic.
Hey, RJ. Julius has been so good for you guys so far this year, and it seems like he's been even better distributor and facilitator. Have you noticed something different in him in playing that kind of that point forward role that I know he took on last year, but seems to be kind of improving on this year?
I don't know. He's been great. He's been great for us. He's doing what Julius does. He's getting everybody involved. He's scoring. He's making the tough plays, and he's getting the rebounds. He's really doing everything for us out there.
Our next question comes from Ian Bagley, SNY.
What did you think of Alfred's night tonight?
Alfred had a big night. Speaks a lot to him. Stayed and got shots up last night, and then today translated to the game. So very happy for him. And need him to have great games to be a successful ball team.
Our last question comes from Mark Berman, New York Post.
What was the best advice you got in the last 24 hours since the other night? And did you watch like the film of the game and where you may have been off?
I definitely watched film of the game. Best advice I got, I probably gave it to myself that I had another one tomorrow. Just go out and just play the next day. You know how to play basketball. I'm not the only person that's had a bad shooting night, so I was very happy with the result tonight.